What's up? What's up, everybody? The Mosley Show. We're a little loose. I kind of like this. I mean, I've never was someone in radio who liked to start like right at 3. I kind of like to ease into things. And this is and our new show will be 1 to 3 every afternoon, roughly 1 to 3. And we're still in talks. Scotty and I will sort this out because Friday, for obvious reasons, is going to look different because we got to be on the air at 4 with our new pregame show, our Green and Gold pregame show, which I've been playing up big on my socials. I want to ask you to get on YouTube and subscribe to that. Just search Green and Gold Game Day, Green and Gold Game Day, and it'll come up. And then we want you to be a part of that. So it's been a crazy weekend. I've been up and down the road. I just got back from College Station last night, and I hustled back to do TV in Dallas last night. So I was on Fox 4 and doing some TV work. And then today, I've been on Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd. And I was hoping, I could talk Baylor, Auburn, and some of that. But, of course, they were only interested in my Cowboys takes. But you know who was on there? Scotty. And Scotty's working on a couple things, and we may bring him in here in a minute. We're fine. Scotty, I love having him, but Lord knows I know how to keep talking. There he is. Are you allowed to – can you speak now, or are we just looking at you?
I think I solved the issues. Can you hear me?
You can, but at least through my ears and perhaps the ears of others, you kind of sound distant and a little strange, but not any stranger than usual. No, it's just kind of, you're not at your full-throated, beautiful Scotty Swingler voice. There he was. You saw him briefly. He's a man who likes to put on a nice golf shirt, come into our kind of theater setting there in Waco Mothership. I'm in the Metroplex as usual. But what I was getting at was our big pregame show starting. Go to that Green and Gold YouTube page, and we'll be putting it all over the place. But sign up. We'd love for you to sign up and be a part of that, and subscribe. It's just easy. It's free, and it's going to be fun. In fact, we'll continue to add more and more. The former Baylor great / Auburn great, the Jarrett Stidham. Some have called this the Jarrett Stidham Bowl. Jarrett Stidham will be dropping by today, and then so you'll hear from him during our Baylor pregame show. Scotty I try to create less work for myself. Scotty was like, I'm going to do an additional hour, and I think that's awesome. I'll be watching that. The first hour will be really driven by Scotty himself, and so that'll start from game day, from the tailgate area, Brazos parking. If you know where the Sikkim 365 guys are, or right off MLK, Camp Fimfo tent is where we'll be. It's going to be beautiful. It'll be fun. We'll have a great platform out there. And then KWTX, that's kind of cool. That's been exciting. Channel 10, that's very exciting. They're going to be in this with us. And so here's what you want to do. You don't want to miss out on the whole, first weekend and first game. So subscribe on that YouTube page. And let's drive those numbers up. And we think after the first weekend, we'll have hopefully 5,000 to 10,000 people signed up. And then we'll just kind of keep adding. And I'll use my massive social media presence. I don't really know. That seems to be overdoing it. I'll use my social media. Scotty will use his. I was excited. I don't know how much Scotty, because he's very gracious. And I think he shares some of his podcast stuff with us. I think we all share. And if Scotty ever wanted some of our interviews with Drew Pearson, Scott Drew, and he wanted to use that on his podcast. I'd be totally fine with that. But I was really excited to see that he had Gary Bohannon on his show. And I believe Terrence Ganaway does that show a lot with him. Ganaway's got great opinions. He's a good guy. I've always liked Terrence, and he was a huge part of Baylor's turnaround. In fact, I know we try not to get into the Bryles thing because it's like it gets us down too many rabbit holes, but that was one of the huge success stories early in Bryles' time because he was able to bring Terrence over from the University of Houston when Terrence was going through some tough times, and that was a really special story. And Ganaway, when you write the story on like that era of greatness in Baylor football, it cannot be written without Ganaway. So I love that Swingler and Ganaway have a relationship. And then I'm a big Gary Bohannon guy because Baylor got a little bit cute at a time when they had an incredible quarterback in Bohannon, an incredible leader. And they said, you know what? We love him, but we got this dude that's a little better arm, got a little more arm talent, better at timing. And again, I was okay with the decision at the time, but the Bears sort of moved on from this incredible leader. And so, Scotty, if they're during today's show or tomorrow's show, anytime this week, you've got some cuts from your conversation with Bohannon, I want to use it. And what I don't want to do ever, though, is like preempt. The only way I would preempt your show is if we wanted to use my show to like have a little teaser, like, hey, here's what you could listen to on Swingler's show later today. Here's a little snippet. That's the only way I'll ever try to scoop you. I will never.
Well, I cut a clip for you today. If you want to take a look.
Yeah. Do you want to do it now?
That's up to you, man. Happy to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like the loose nature of this. We want to make them think, Scotty, that we haven't spent hours upon hours because we want this to look kind of loose. The truth is, Scotty and I started planning out this show in July, like today's show, Monday, August 25th. And we have laid everything out beautifully, but we want to appear loose and all those kinds of things. All right, Scotty, that's exciting. And by the way, you sound fine now. Scotty we had some last minute. He was getting the laptop figured out, but everything sounds great right now. I want to see some of this. So this is from and then Scotty, because to keep me on task, I do want to start going over the Baylor depth chart came out today, and yep. I'm not as big a depth chart as some. I do love a good like Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine depth chart. Like my dad was in that depth chart back in the late 60s with Baylor. And so I get those are kind of big deals. But when you start a season and you have your first visit with Coach Aranda, those are big moments to start a season. And so, Scotty, I want to hear your thoughts on the depth chart, and I'll be giving you some of my thoughts as I kind of look at it and see what I think. And then we'll talk about some of the injuries. We already know a few people who are not going to be able to go in this first weekend against Auburn. And I do think what we're going to find in college football, because of some of the new rules and some of even the Big 12 rules, that we're going to get more transparency with injuries. Aranda's been better than some about discussing injuries. None of them are great. But I thought he was pretty open and transparent about a couple of injuries today that we will address. All right, Scotty, I want to sample this. This was on the podcast that Scotty does with Terrence Ganaway. And Scotty, set this up because I want to hear a little bit of this and react to it. This is y'all talking to Gary Bohannon, and set this up for me so I'll know what we're getting.
Sure. Well, it was really simple for me to invite Gary on. And Matt, can you turn your headphones down a little bit? I can hear it bleeding back to me through your microphone. That's how loose we are today. Thank you, sir. That's great. Please bear with me. Podcast Scotty Swingler, Terrence Ganaway. We're going to break down Baylor football every Sunday night. And Bohannon was our first guest last night. This was because, and I'll set it up in the clip. He is Baylor. He led Baylor's winningest team ever. There are high expectations for this year's Baylor team, but also those Bears ran an SEC team off the field in a Sugar Bowl. And so I asked him about the mentality that this team needs to compete with a big name SEC brand this weekend and go win a Big 12 championship. And Matt, you're going to love this answer. I just thought this answer from Gary was spot on. So let me roll this real quick. You guys ran Ole Miss out of the Superdome. So I'm curious for your perspective on the mentality that needs to go into this game Friday night against Auburn. What is it like to get on the field against an SEC opponent? And what did you guys have going into that Sugar Bowl that led to that dominant win?
We ignored the logo. The logo meant nothing to us. I mean, we knew the offseason we had. We were confident in our abilities, how strong we were. How fast we were. We just knew that if we all came out there on one accord, then the ball was in our court. And honestly, we walked into it not to say we were cocky, but we were confident, very, very confident. And it was just y'all on our field. They had more fans and everything, but they were coming on our field. And we never turned our back on each other. No matter if someone bad, good, we had each other back. And so it's a mentality to go out there and just impose your will and have your way with those guys. And it starts with the first play. Come out there and be physical. Because everybody going to look at this logo and say, oh, this is SEC team this SEC team that. None of that matters. Like if y'all got your mind made up, they're laughing on defense, they're laughing on offense, this kickoff team, this kickoff return team, playmakers make plays. I don't care where you at, what that logo says. If you a baller, you a baller. Go out there and show it. And so it's that mentality that every play I'm going to show them that this is my field. That energy is contagious. One guy sees it, you make a play, the next guy sees it, and the next guy sees it. And it just trickles down on all of the guys. And now it's like, okay, they not nothing. They not who we thought they were. And they not even who they thought they were. So in that case, just go out there and dominate because a lot of teams, you have a lot of front runners. You don't have too many guys that can come out there, too many teams that come out there and get hit in the mouth and just stand back up and take it and deliver a blow and take another blow and deliver another one. So you go out there and pull your will because in their mind they thinking, okay, this is a Big 12 team. We're already bigger than them, faster than we in the SEC, so-called. And so from that point, they're going to think they're going to come in there with the big head anyways. And that's when you, being an underdog, you show, okay, it's more to us than what you guys think it is. And they just got to go out there and show it. I think it's an exciting matchup, though. I know I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be tuned in.
All right. And it's just good to see him. I mean, and please bear with me. It's the podcast. Sunday night's a great time to have a podcast because you've got the college games you can react to and react to Baylor and other things. But I mean, I would keep Bohannon. I would keep him on speed dial, bring him in sometimes, use him as well. I love that guy. I think if you just base it on the results of the decision they made, especially the way that season, because that season had such ups and downs, I think Baylor made the wrong decision. It may sound harsh, and I do think there are people that would try to defend it and go, this is why. And I even remember the late, great J.J. Joe, him and I having a lot of discussions about like that choice and who they were going to choose. And JJ thought he knew they were going to choose, and he knew why they were going to choose Blake Shapen. And he had reasons for that. And they were very logical. But gosh, you just can't discount Gary had great leadership traits. And he was a massive dude. And, what was interesting is, and I know everybody was so ready for the offensive coordinator, Jeff Grimes, to be gone after he had a couple of subsequent bad seasons with the Bears. But wow, when you have a guy that can run, and Sawyer can run, we know that, but who can, and you heard him use that phrase, Scotty, impose your will. That was kind of cool when you could line up against Ole Miss or whoever it was against with a backyard bully as your quarterback, with a guy who had the mentality of you're going to feel me in this game. You know, you're going to have to tackle me a lot, and that's not going to be a pleasant experience. That was a fun time. Did you and Terrence get to ask, like, what's Gary doing? What's next for Gary? Because he played college football for about 7 years. Did he have? Is he still finishing up school? Is he moved into a career? What's Gary up to?
Yeah, he's coaching quarterbacks. So he's doing private coaching, private training with quarterbacks. He's in Memphis currently. So anyone in Eastern Arkansas or Western Tennessee area, QB Doctor Memphis is his new business. He did tell me he's going to try to get to Waco for a couple of camps as well, hang out back here, give back to Waco. So that's what he's up to. You can check out that full interview on Please Bear With Me on YouTube. We asked him all sorts of stuff, Matt. He was great. I mean, and you can hear it when he talks, even in that short clip, why guys would want to run through a wall for him. Like, I think Scotty B commented on here just a second ago that Gary is so genuine. You can hear that when he speaks, but also like it is that mix of like, he does not strike you as arrogant at all, but you hear him talk in that clip. It's like, we knew we were better. Like we just came out confident and knew we are going to run this SEC team off the field. We're bigger and we're faster and we're stronger, which is the opposite of the narrative, right? The national narrative. So it will be interesting to see. And why I had him on is I want to see who immediately looks bigger, faster, stronger, more confident this Friday. Especially because we've got nothing to work on, Matt. Like practice is practice. It doesn't mean anything Friday night if you can't go out and as Gary said, enforce your will, hit him in the mouth quick. He and Terrence both talked about Baylor. Most important thing for Baylor in that game might be starting fast. It might be saying right up front at the beginning, we belong. You're in our house. Here's what we do. Now you catch up to us.
You know who I think like has the most pressure on them in week 1 in the country? I think Brian Kelly going to Death Valley, the other Death Valley against Clemson. That's going to be a great matchup. And I think Hugh Freeze at Auburn, because for Freeze, man, they can't. You know, we thought Napier was going to get fired at Florida last year, and he didn't. They kind of rallied. It always helps when you have a young quarterback with a lot of hope, and that ended up saving him, DJ Lagway. Jackson Arnold offers hope based on what he was coming out of high school. Boy, if you turn on the Oklahoma tape, he doesn't offer a lot of hope. But it just you saying that about the SEC and me thinking about it, I really think the two coaches that start this season, and there may be people on bigger hot seats, I get all that. But Hugh Freeze, like a win in Waco over Baylor would be huge for that program. And that's a kind of a funny thing to say for a national title winning program that honestly is picking up more national titles almost on a weekly basis. I mean, I guess, you know, Senator Tuberville came out and announced that I think, 2000, there's a few legit ones they have, but they're just adding. It's kind of like the Aggies. The Aggies, like pre-World War II, they every once in a while they'll just go, "Hey guys, I forgot to say this, but we won one in 1919. All right, we forgot to let you guys know, but we did in 1927. We got a national title as well." The great thing is, like Baylor last before that 1980 SWC title, Baylor's last one was in I think 1924. I think they should just claim a national title for that 24 season. I don't have it in front of me. Scotty, if you would take a peek at Baylor's schedule in 1924. I believe they won the SWC title. Then they waited a good. I'm sorry about 1980. People would jump all over me. 1974, obviously, and it was the 50-year anniversary. They won the conference title in 1974. Won it again in 1980. But Scotty, I would like to claim, in the spirit of what Auburn keeps doing, who's going to stop us from saying that Baylor was the 1924 national champions? I mean, A&M claims a whole bunch of stuff in the early aughts. Let's take a peek, Scotty, at that 1924 schedule. I would imagine, I don't know, had TCU already become TCU? They were Adrian College, but I believe they had already become TCU. Texas was Texas. A&M was A&M. What was Baylor's record that year? Who did they lose to in 1924?
What a different world, bro. Baylor finished that season 7-2-1. They did have a 6-13 loss in Dallas to Central State Teachers, which will now redirect you to Central Oklahoma. And they had a 3-7 loss to the Austin Kangaroos, Austin College, now a Division III team. That being said, a 30-0 victory over North State Teachers, a 13-0 victory over Arkansas, a 15-7 victory over Texas A&M, a 28-10 romp of Texas, 7-7 draw to SMU before finishing the season with wins over St. Edwards and Rice. Sure, Matt, why not? National champs.
Was that game at Texas or in Waco?
At Texas.
Can you tell?
At Texas, 28-10.
That may have been like the last road win at Texas, about 70. It's like, I think the next one was 89.
I think Griffin, Griffin finally got one at one point.
No, 89, they beat them 50-7, but they did go a long time, starting in maybe like the 1940s. They went a long time without beating the Longhorns on the road, and then just crushed them with Robert Blackman and let's see, JJ would have been a true freshman.
Oh, I heard that story about Robert Blackman. He had 2 picks in that game, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Big Cat Francis was on that team. I think Ron may have already been drafted by the Cowboys at that point, Ron Francis. But anyway, that was but I'll tell you who else was on that team. Robin Jones, Big Cat, Santana was on that team. They had some unbelievable defenses that Fredenberg had around then, and they just weren't putting the offense together. And then a young JJ in 90 started. He got thrust into the lineup because of an injury, and the rest is history. 91, the offense was great, and the defense was great too. And the Rice Owls put one on us, and that was horrible. Do you remember off the top of your head we got to get Schmaltz's all signed up and everything before we start doing these trivia contests? But do you remember? Do you remember? In fact, email them right now. No, I'm kidding. Do you remember the star running back at Rice when the Rice Owls pulled that upset over like the number 6 or 7 ranked Bears in 1991?
I was born in 1992, Mosley. So
we don't need to.
I do not.
Okay, we don't need your birth year. We just need to. I mean, because you have a basis of knowledge back then. Let's not act like you had to be on this earth to know anything. Trevor Cobb, very, very famous Rice running back, who, even though you were not born at the time, sir, I'll tell you what we were doing then. We were going to those games. and then we would head out to Melody Ranch
Oh
and
yeah.
do some two-stepping. Did that still happen when you were in school? Were there people going
It-
out there and dancing? Yeah.
There are still people dancing at Melody Ranch to this day. Yes, sir.
And then you go to another place called, somebody will know on here. What's the other place we would dance in the early to mid 90s? If you were a Baylor student, you would go out. This other place was more of a drinking place. And of course, that worried me, and I didn't like that as much. Silver, but they would have like 99-cent bottles or something. And I remember being so naive, whatever they called it, the drafts, whatever the night was. I remember thinking, I wonder what that is. Like I was a true Southern Baptist kid.
Yeah, you were.
Who had to kind of ease my way into that whole world. And I eased in for a long time there. But that was called, there was another dance place. How do people get a hold of us, by the way, if they want to text into us? What's the easiest way for them to? It's to go on our YouTube page, the Matt Mosley Show, and then get in the comments section. Does that sound right?
That's true. The live chat. By the way, I don't know if Bear the Truth is referencing the bar or just saying something really out of pocket, but was it called Rope a Hoe?
No, I think he's being crass or something. I don't think you should.
I just had to, I couldn't tell. Oh, here it is. Is it Okie Dokies on Wooded Acres?
3 for 1 on Thursday nights. That's not the one, but I've heard of that place. This place was out closer to the mall. This was out closer to Richland Mall.
He meant to say Midnight Rodeo.
That sounds familiar. Okay, and nobody say the other places that I know about that I did not venture to. No, I just cannot. It's not coming to mind. It was, but it was a place you could go dancing. I would say it was more of a local place, whereas the Baylor kids sort of co-opted Melody Ranch. In fact, I saw Colin Ray at Melody Ranch one time, and Colin Ray had some big time hits. Colin Ray at one point was on a big run. But that particular night, we saw him perform in Melody Ranch, and I promise you there were about 25 of us. We got a private concert with Colin Ray. But he had all those songs that would make you sad, like My Grandmother, na 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 na, back in na 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 na. And it was like they had written something on a tree, something about, if you get there before I do, na 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 na. And na 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 na. He was good, and he might have been somebody was singing "She Don't Know She's Beautiful" back then. Was that him or was that Doug? Somebody. She don't know she's beautiful. I think
Mosley, you're in a singing mood today, my friend.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Mosley was singing when I got on here, singing now.
Yeah. I was singing this on the Cowherd show today. We need to tie that in. We need to use that somehow, Scotty. I mean, you're the marketing brain on this show. So when I go national, we need to take the national stuff and hey, you can catch more Mosley here at his new YouTube show, which he doesn't even know how to give the website to. But we need to tap into all that, the national audience.
So here's all you do. Yeah. Cowherd has his own podcasting network. He knows how to do this. You tell Colin next time he asks you on, hey, can you give me 15 seconds to promote my new show? And generally those guys will say, yeah. Oh, you have the new Matt Mosley show on Rogue, and then you can talk about it. They're supposed to. That's a common courtesy, I feel like, in the podcasting world. Certainly.
I finish those things and go, wait, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I? That's my issue. Okay. Hey, great stuff having that thing ready to go. Now, here in about a few minutes, we need to get Campus Confidential going. We got Jarrett Stidham at 2:00 today. We'll have him waiting in queue. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, that's all Scotty, because this guy's still – now we got to – with backup quarterbacks this time of year, Scotty, we got to stay on top of what's going on with him, right? Because those guys are getting cut left and right. Like,
well, he
Danucci,
just signed a new deal. Stidham did.
So he's feeling good about
Stidham,
Denver, and everything's fine. All right, good.
He's pretty solidly fixed as Bo Nick's backup in Denver.
Nice. Okay, because like Danucci the other day had a picture of his beer at the
airport beer,
and he said it was his 9th time to be cut. I've never been tempted with the airport. To me, the airport beer is kind of a sad beer because it's like a, and I guess it's fun if you're going somewhere fun, but the folks that are hitting the airport beers at crazy hours, I always like to worry about that a little bit. Is there much like breakfast where people, suddenly have the ability to have mimosas? Do airports just automatically give the people the right to drink at any hour, and it's supposed to be above board and fine? I guess so. The airport drinking is an interesting deal. Because I always think those bars are kind of sad. It's just like and they're always called rock and roll something, and it's just got weird stuff on the walls. Like they try to make it inviting, but it really is just kind of like I feel bad for the airport bartender, although I bet they make a lot of money. Quite honestly, I maybe shouldn't feel bad for them. But to have to go through security to get to your job every day is a weird thing. Okay, Scotty, we've got this Baylor. We got the Baylor depth chart, and not too many surprises, I would say. I like the fact. Okay, so Bryson Washington is obviously your starting running back. Firmly number 2, because in some of these positions they have the and or the or, and that's kind of a cop-out. That's okay. They've got the backup running back is Caden Knighton, the freshman. Excited about him. Michael Turner, who I'm also excited about. Dave Aranda, and we may hear a little bit more. Oh, this is so cool when Scotty does this. I mean, again, this is second nature for him, but this blows my mind to be able to have this up here. And after 20 years of doing radio, this is the stuff I get excited about. This is the stuff. I would say if you look upon that offensive line, nothing too surprising there. I feel great about that line. I really do. The only thing that's a little bit interesting is the freshman Clough wins that backup job over at right guard. That's good. That's exciting. The freshman Matthew Parker, the massive freshman, 6'7", 330 pounds, wins the backup job over at right tackle. Those are interesting. Now, over at wide receiver, Ashton Hawkins is just so much fun to have him back. I would say that's a either or because they love Lewis Brown. Yep. Lewis Brown came in here. Dave's calling him a dog. I think he's going to be – I think this is in deference to Ashton Hawkins. Welcome back. We love you. It's so awesome that you're back. But, boy, Lewis Brown, if you think Lewis Brown's playing second fiddle to anybody, you haven't been sort of listening and watching what's going on. I love that Mason Dawsett, one of the backup wide receivers, knew his dad. His dad was incredibly fast. That's a Baylor legacy situation. Ashton Jones, freshman, big-time recruit. He'll be in the mix. Obviously, he's behind Josh Cameron. Up at the other wide receiver slot, Cole Wilson, think he's going to be really good. Think he's got all kinds of speed. That's going to be fun. But this is their deepest position because look at who they have backing them up. Kobe Prentice comes in from freaking Alabama, the transfer. We're very excited about him. Backing him up is a guy everybody thinks is going to play in the league, going to play in the NFL. We're talking about Jaden Porter out of Lorena. So you can't look at this depth chart and go, well, Jaden Porter's a third string. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dudes that will have to be in the rotation, and you're going to have to find a way to keep them involved in the pass offense. Now, the great thing is you're going to have 4 of them at a time out there sometimes. I mean, you maybe go 5 wide. Yeah.
And Matt, you didn't even mention this guy, but I think Taz Williams is a stud too. I really like Taz Williams coming out of Red Oak.
I thought I had a chance for a little cup of, a little sip of coffee.
I'll go longer next time.
You had him no, but it's funny is, no, you're great. But I used to do radio with somebody that I would talk for like 20 minutes straight, on and on. And I mean, I'm, at this point, I'm like the rest of the audience. I'm like, I just need for 1 second, and I would throw it to my guy. And he'd give me like one word after I'm just needing a quick breather. But no, Scotty is not like that at all. Scotty can talk forever, and he could do his own show, which he does have his own podcast, which is very nice. Okay, Scotty, on the other side of this, we need to get to Campus Confidential. So we'll do defense later, and we'll do the rest of that offense. Let's do some campus, because remember, we got Jarrett Stidham coming up. And the great thing about this is, if you ever miss us live, I promise you, we will cut this Stidham interview up every which way but Sunday, and then we'll have some of it involved in the pregame show on Friday. Come see us. We'll be out there right across MLK, and it'll be hard to miss us because we'll be in the middle of all that Brazos parking, and then I'll try to get some signage up there. In fact, I'm going to be wearing a sandwich board right next to MLK, just kind of waving everybody in. All right. And it'll be exciting. Campus Confidential is next.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mosley Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolo, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
It is the Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. And love Rogue and love what we're doing. And we got lots of stuff. I'm getting feedback on Twitter. We're letting kind of everybody know what we're going to be up to. In fact, I was just texting with Eddie Lackey, who is no stranger to these chrome helmets. He was one of the great linebackers. Man, he and trying to think back some of those incredible linebackers. Bryce Hager was another one. In later years, Clay Johnston became one. But back then, playing for Phil Bennett, Lackey was just awesome. He played some JUCO ball, I believe, and then came to Baylor and just turned into one of the really fine linebackers in Baylor history. And then Scotty, I think, Jimmy Landis may also be stopping by. And Jimmy was a deep snapper on some of those teams. In fact, Jimmy ended up going with the Detroit Lions and, was in the NFL for a bit. So I think he's hanging out with Eddie that night. And I told him, Scotty, I said, just bring him over. Bring Jimmy with you. We'll anybody who wants to show up, we'll bring him right on set.
By the way, I looked it up because I was curious when you said he might be stopping by. There haven't been that many pure long snappers drafted, and the records prior to about 2012 aren't very clear. But depending on how you look at it, that dude is one of only like 12 or 13 long snappers ever to get drafted into the NFL. Now, Baylor has a legacy of putting a lot of long snappers into the NFL. He's one of them, but he is one of the very, very, very few to ever get drafted.
Yeah, and there was one guy that lasted forever with
John Weeks.
Was that the Texans?
Yes, John Weeks.
Okay. And then, but somebody lasted forever with the Colts. Had a long, long career. All right, we do have now Jarrett Stidham's coming up at 2. The Denver Broncos. Scotty has hit this one out of the park, and there's obviously some Baylor Auburn tie-ins we want to visit with him about. So we'll have him coming up just in about 15 minutes. Scotty, what's on your mind when it comes to Campus Confidential? And for those of you new to the Mosley Show, where have you been, by the way? My gosh, I've only been doing this for years and years, but no, we're happy to have you. This is where Scotty's going to throw out some major college headlines. And again, it doesn't have to be like the biggest breaking news in the world. If it's fun, if Scotty likes the story, that's fine too. And then we roll through a few of these and react to them. Scotty, where do we begin today's Campus Confidential?
Let's begin with this. Let's stay close to home. Did you see that on Yahoo Sports this morning, Ross Dellinger wrote a feature story about Dave Aranda and Baylor's transition into the NIL era, and just documented pretty well here just how Baylor struggled in 2023 to adapt and didn't want to pay players market value and is still even kind of reticent in some ways to the way that NIL is changing college athletics. There was some conversation in this article about class and struggling to get certain kids to go to class, not just Baylor kids, but speaking to a lot of college coaches, generally speaking. There was a quote from a coach. Let's see if I can find it real quick. That said that some of these players were saying, it was from Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda is quoted as saying, you ask some of the players and they say, I'm getting paid to play. I'm not getting paid to go to school. So anyway, Baylor featured in this Yahoo Sports article that came out this morning about NIL.
I think in the coming days, we may have even more to say about this, but I like that Dellinger from Yahoo, at a time when he's so caught up in SEC playing 9 games, college football playoff, he's really become one of the definitive, Pete Thamel is that for ESPN. But I would say from a breaking news, realignment, all of the crazy business side of NIL and portal, Dellinger's become maybe one of the big, and I've had him on before. We can have him on if we want to. I'm going to spend more time reading this story and to see, what new things he's maybe shed light on of interest, at least that interests me. But I think it speaks highly of the Baylor program and Dave Aranda that he would be drawn to this. And the truth of the matter is, even though Dave kind of, made some jokes over a weird analogy that he used a movie recently. And so that was not the positive press that we kind of enjoyed Dave getting. This is a really good thing when someone at this level takes the time to dig in on Aranda in his program. So Scotty, I like that. And I think what it says is, by the way, Wetzel, who has written for Yahoo for a long time, is now with ESPN, and I've known for many, many years, Dan Wetzel. I would say that he has a similar view about Baylor. He has a fascination with Baylor because he views them as being on the crossroads as a private school in a land of the big boy state school, huge money NIL. Can the Baylors of the world stay relevant and compete? Which, by the way, are the same questions that Mack Rhodes and Jovan Overshown are constantly asking themselves. And so I think that's why Dellinger and people like Wetzel are drawn to writing about Baylor. But I'll dig into that more, Scotty, and we can talk more about that moving forward.
Well, did you see, Matt, that over the weekend, of course, Farmageddon happened in Ireland? A lot of fun there. Interesting game, 24-21. Iowa State gets the win. Interestingly enough, there were only 21 points scored between the two teams in the first 3 quarters, but 24 points scored between the two teams in an exciting fourth. But it wasn't just an exciting fourth quarter, Matt Mosley, because after the game, Avery Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State, his father and his brother got into a little scrum. Turn that down a little bit. Got into a little scrum in the parking lot. And these men have issued a joint apology about this. What is it this year, Matt, with dads embarrassing their kids? We had Tyrese Halliburton's dad getting on the court confronting Giannis in the playoffs, in the NBA playoffs, and now we've got Avery Johnson, not just his father but his brother, fighting one another. I saw Dave Portnoy retweeted the story and said, "I'm totally okay with families fighting each other. At least they're not fighting anyone else at the game." But kind of a awkward scenario there going on in Ireland.
Yeah, and surely, when you're in Ireland, there would be no alcohol involved, right? Something like that. Surely no one would ever be overserved over there. It's a weird one. You know, I felt, because I know that offensive coordinator for K-State had to be an extremely tough loss because you have rivals. I do not think this is a game the Big 12 protected, but they did go ahead and play this game over in Ireland. But Matt Wells is the offensive coordinator for K-State. And some people had K-State as sort of a borderline college football playoff type team. And now Iowa State becomes that team. Neither team looked great. Each team had moments. I thought Beck made a couple of gorgeous throws. I thought Avery Johnson, who at every turn, if Scotty Swingler has a chance to take a poke at the great Avery Johnson, he will. And he waits for somebody to tweet something about him, and then he'll jump in there.
Listen,
yes.
I'm tired of pretending like the 8th best quarterback in the Big 12 is some kind of revelation. Okay. I'm not an Avery Johnson guy, man. I don't think he's that good. But
by the way, there are people that had an odd reaction to I think when you see a redheaded, long-haired quarterback like Avery Johnson, you like his dad and his brother look a little different than him, and so I think some people were kind of like, "Wait, what? What's going on?" And I think everybody had the same reaction. But from a family standpoint, can't happen. What an embarrassment! Come on, handle yourselves. What are parents supposed to be at games? They're supposed to be supportive. And the part I always worry about is the quarterback's dad being too close to fans who are mad at the quarterback, or he throws an interception, he's not playing well. That's what I worry more about than his own son getting in a fight with him out in the parking lot. What a joke. So you can't have it. I'd like the Bears to get involved over in Dublin. It's a trip I'd like to make. We've made a huge commitment to the green and gold pregame. Tell a friend. And do I think that Corey Dickman would fly us all over to Ireland, to the Isle of what do we? There's nicknames for it, but the Emerald Isle or something. Anyway, I think that's when I'm renting a car. But I think we would go. I think we would go, Scotty. I think if Baylor played somebody in Dublin, I think Rogue would say, yes, we're making the commitment and we're headed over there. I love the commitment that we make. And Scotty, I don't know if you agree with me or not.
I'm not so sure. We should try. We should try that. We should find out. We should test the theory.
Scott's just trying to get his salary up a little bit. He's not concerned with us taking trips to Dublin. I like that.
No comment.
Scotty, I know, not that I would ever make you comment, but I will say this. We do have a big – did you want to get one more quick one in, or do we need to break for our guest?
Let's make it real quick, and then we'll take a break. Bad news for Texas A&M fans. Jerome Miles, 5-star stud wide receiver, out with an injury that required surgery. By the way, I know it's Aggie, and I like to roast Aggie, but Matt, I hate seeing a freshman, a highly touted, talented freshman, not even get to play a snap in the regular season. That absolutely stinks. So for our friends in College Station, more bad news for Texas A&M as Jerome Miles is out.
Wow, man, I'm sorry to hear it too. And great player, and we'll keep our eye on the situation. Now, soon to be waiting in the wings, the man who's just lit it up for the Denver Broncos this preseason. My gosh, Scotty, did you see his numbers? Have you seen he's led the NFL? He's the greatest preseason quarterback out there right now. And I think if pressed into duty, could do a tremendous job. I think, honestly, he's become one of the more reliable backup quarterbacks in the NFL, and it is former Baylor star and former Auburn star, and that would be Jarrett Stidham. We'll join the Mosley Show with Scotty Swingler next.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, And yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story, The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
It is the Matt Mosley Show, and we are excited to be with you. This week, Auburn and Baylor get it on Friday night. We'll announce what our schedule looks like Friday, because it's going to be all hands on deck from the stadium, from McLean. Get there early, be in black, the blackout, the chrome helmets will be out. Now, we were promising you Jarrett Stidham. And, oh, there he is. There he is. I mean, Jarrett, not that I would ever doubt Scotty, but I just wanted to make sure. I saw you actually on film there. He's got the bookcase behind him. Jarrett, we could probably stand to put a few more books up there.
It's funny you say that. They're actually all over here to my right. I do
okay.
reading, but I got the football stuff here, the playbooks and stuff. So try to be somewhat organized.
Man, congratulations on all your success. You've just signed a new contract. You The numbers in the preseason have been off the charts. In fact, a lot of preseason backup quarterbacks, you kind of have to keep playing, and you're like, oh, really? Now that you've solidified your spot and you did so well, they're like, okay, Jarrett, you can rest a little bit because you put up huge numbers. So congratulations on all your success. Not that Sean Payton ever lets anybody relax, but to throw for, over 400 yards or whatever it is and 4 touchdowns in the preseason. Is this the best? Obviously, you want to be in the games, the real games and all of that. But in terms of a preseason that you've been a part of, is this the best you've ever felt?
It is. I would definitely say this is the best that I have felt probably in my career. Honestly, probably going back to probably my first year at Auburn back in 2017. So, one of those things where I think it's a lot to do with, off-season training and that sort of thing. Just trying to get ready for the season. And then once you go into OTAs, training camp, all that sort of stuff, just try to hit your stride at the right moment. And, luckily been able to go out there and play some football and, score some points. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right. What is, I know Sean Payton, I've known him for a long time, and I'd be careful bringing my name up, the Mosley name. I'm not sure exactly what reaction you would get, but being around him, he is a quarterback guru. He had the incredible time with Breeze. He doesn't always get credited for this. He's actually had a huge role in why Romo came to the Cowboys. Yep. And of course, they were both at Eastern Illinois. On one hand, I'm sure there's a lot of quarterback things you can learn from him, but he's also kind of a funny, interesting guy. And whether he's hanging out with Kenny Chesney or all of that, what's that been like being around Sean Payton? And what's the biggest thing that he's helped you with, like as you continue to kind of add to your arsenal and continue to improve as a quarterback?
Yeah, obviously, I think like you touched on with Drew Brees and all those years in New Orleans, and like you said with Romo back in Dallas, there's been a lot to just kind of pick up from his standpoint from over the years. We could go kind of X's and O's all we want, but I think honestly one of the big things, one of the cooler things about him is just his ability to establish a culture. And obviously he did it, in New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina, and whenever that organization, that city needed that. And then coming here to Denver, he's kind of done the same thing. We went 10 years without making the playoffs, made the playoffs last year, and he sets up a really great culture with guys that want to work hard, that want to be there, and that don't take shortcuts. And honestly, I've been very fortunate, obviously, to play for Bill Belichick, there in New England, and now Sean, here in Denver. And I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I've been around, 2 Hall of Fame head coaches, and then played, behind some incredible quarterbacks that obviously will be in the Hall of Fame. So there, like I said, there's a lot X's and O's that I could go into, but I think establishing a culture, coming into a new place is one of the bigger things, and one of the things that I've really enjoyed, getting to be a part of that here in Denver with Sean.
All right, knowing Bill Belichick and being around him now that he's coming into the college game, Jarrett, that has to be kind of surreal for you to watch. And you've had him better than almost all of us and have been around him. Is football like, and also obviously some of the off the field stuff, I'm sure like a lot of us, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe these have become such huge stories. But just from a football standpoint, how do you think that's going to go at UNC? And do you find yourself, you got to focus on Broncos right now, but will you be way more dialed into UNC than you would have ever been previously?
Absolutely. I will be dialed into Tar Heel football for sure. Obviously played for Bill, and then his son, Steve, who's the defense coordinator there. Steve's a very, very close friend of mine. Him and his wife and their kids, we've gotten to know super well over the last, 6-7 years. Their chief of staff, a guy named Chris Mattis, also another one of my closest friends in the world. So I've got some skin in the game with UNC, and I'm very excited to see how that goes. as far as, Bill and, how it'll go, I obviously I don't know. I'm just as anxious, as everybody else to see how it ends up unfolding. But I will say one thing: if you play football, at North Carolina, you're going to be very prepared. You're going to know the opponent in and out. And obviously there's, a little bit different, time constraints, so to speak, with class and stuff like that in college versus the pros. But the thing I always appreciated about Bill is you never went into a week not knowing who your opponent is, what they were good at, what they were bad at, how were we going to attack that team. It's one of again, I could go on and on about the stuff I learned from Bill, situational football, just being very well prepared every single week. I'm excited to see it.
Okay, so we can't. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it into Waco, your old stomping grounds. I'm not sure when the last time you swung through town, but people would obviously love to see you. Do you get a kick out of the fact that some people are referring to this as the Stidham Bowl? You have really? We're hearing some of that. We obviously wanted to see more of you than we got to. In fact, when I see some of your highlights with Denver and others in New England before that, I always am like, dang it. Like, I wanted to see how that was going to play out. And obviously you went on and had a really good career with Auburn, and we know which way you'll be leaning in this thing. Although you're from Texas, you may still have a little love for the people in Waco. What's it going to be like watching that on Friday night, knowing that you were involved with both programs and have a lot of friends from both sides?
Yeah, it's obviously it's going to be exciting. Little house divided here because my wife obviously played soccer at Baylor. That's how we met. And obviously I ended up going to Auburn. So a little bit of house divided. I'm going to try to get the kids on my side on Friday night for the game. That way they know. Put my daughter in her Auburn dress. But no, it's super exciting. Obviously, have roots in both places and stuff like that. So I'm very anxious to see how it goes. And obviously I know Sawyer really well there at Baylor, and he obviously had a great year last year. So I'm really looking forward to see how he plays this year. And then on the Auburn side of things, Jackson Arnold coming in, seeing how he plays, how he adapts to playing at Auburn. It's just different than OU. So, and we have a lot of playmakers, on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm excited what Hugh, can dial up on Friday night. And, I'm hoping for a great game. First week, you always want it to be a good one. So, hopefully we get that.
Hugh needs to stop turning in his golf scores. I mean, it's one of the strangest things, Jarrett. I'm like, it's on one hand, it's kind of honorable that he wants to have an accurate handicap because you don't like people showing up in scrambles and cheating. Right. But I was just like, why are you opening yourself up to this? Because it's not like he doesn't work hard, and we all need a release. I'm sure you've played around at tour golf or fish or whatever, but if you're a head coach in the SEC and it starts going around that you're playing a lot of golf, it's going to come back on you. And Lane Kiffin and others are going to get a hold of that, right? So right. I think the lesson here is not to like stop playing golf. It's like you don't have to turn every round in. Don't you think that
it is horrible? I do appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, when it gets close to the season, hopefully we're winning a lot of games. I've been around guys that do play golf during the season. Personally, I do not. I put the sticks up. Like when I go to training camp, my stuff's still back home there in Texas in Fort Worth. So I don't want to have the temptation of going out and playing during the season once it starts. So, but shoot, I mean, if like I said, it's honorable that he's trying to have an accurate handicap. I appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works.
All right. So Auburn has a little bit been out in the wilderness even since you left. And I guess Bo just kind of follows you around, obviously. But like when you look at it and you talk to your buddies who love the program and everything, like this seems to be a huge, I mean, even just this game for Hugh Freeze and to set the tone, this is monstrous. Like, What do you think's the biggest reason it's been a struggle? And maybe it's recruiting. I don't know. I would not have thought Auburn would have struggled with NIL because obviously their alums love their Tigers, love War Eagle as much as the Bama people love their team. What do you think's been the biggest issue? And have you heard or seen signs that maybe Auburn's doing some things to maybe get back to what they're known for? And by the way, did you know y'all have won some more national titles now? We've had they made that announcement in the past week.
I did see that. What was that? Like when was that? Way back in the day, right? It just somehow came back up. I don't know.
Well, I think our old friend Tuberville had something to do with it. And one of those, the Auburn could not play in postseason. And I think they went undefeated. So I think they're claiming one on that one. And then they've added a few through the years. And today, by the way, I'm claiming a 1924 Baylor national title. They only went 7-2-1 that year, but I think it was a good year, and they won the conference title. Yeah.
I like it. No, I think back whenever I was in school, we had some success there. And then, Bo came in right after me, and I want to say his freshman year, they played well. And then, it's kind of teetered off since. And look, I don't know if you can point to one thing or one person. I think, football is too hard just to point at, one certain person or one certain thing. But I think it's just a combination of things. Obviously, I would say, maybe selfishly, I would say that Auburn is, a top 15 program in the country, holistically. And I would say whenever you can get the right people in there, whether it's, and obviously it starts with the head coach, and then trickles down to the players and starts with the quarterback. If you can have a good head coach and a good quarterback, just like a lot of these schools, if you want to talk about University of Texas or Ohio State or Oregon or Penn State, like you can go on and on, Alabama, Georgia, like if you can have the right guy leading the team, from the head coach's spot, and then the right guy leading the team from the quarterback spot, you'll have some success. And so I think it's just trying to find, the combination. Obviously, we've been through some head coaches, since I was there, and just trying to find a good continuity between those two things. I think especially at the college level, I mean those two are the most important people, in an organization, so to speak. And then with NIL, like you said, I mean, I feel like Auburn doesn't have an issue with the NIL side of things. So like I said, I think that's where it really boils down to, and it's just trying to find the right match made in heaven between those two. And, hopefully we have that this year.
All right. I hope Auburn can handle the blackout, the chrome helmets, bringing out pretty much everything, whole new uniform. And so, as you know, some of that stuff from that era, I think Baylor was a little reluctant to go back to. And then at some point it's occurred to them, well, wait, the students, everybody was having a lot of fun back then, right? We were winning a lot of games. So maybe some of that stuff we could try again. Do you remember putting on you wore the chrome helmets, didn't you, at some point? Those shiny ones with the all black, the anthracite.
I'm trying to think. I know my freshman year we had a blackout against OU, but we went all black. We went black helmets, black uniform, the whole thing. The chrome one, I know I wore it at some point. I don't know exactly when that was, but yeah, I mean, obviously that was a great time in Baylor football, and obviously the whole university was behind it, and I know the students loved, some of those games, some of the blackout games and those sort of things, strike the stadium, all that kind of stuff. So I had very fond memories of some of those.
Yeah. By the way, you were such a huge recruit at Baylor, and you were in that first wave of when it wasn't like, oh, they're just beating people up with their scheme. Now they're starting to get players. And some of my tech buddies are still mad at you, because you were going to tech at one point, and they're like, oh my gosh, how did y'all end up with Jarrett or whatever? Do you ever find yourself daydreaming, and maybe you're more well-adjusted than most Baylor fans, but like thinking what that team that y'all were in the midst of putting together, and there was one big time recruiting class on the way, where do you think that was headed? Because y'all were already competing for a playoff, and they should have had a playoff in 2014 spot. And then as you came in there, where do you think that program was headed at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously, I would say, 8-9 years ago, I thought a lot more about this. So I've kind of gotten better, as time has gone on. But I tell people, and this is just my own opinion. So who knows if it would have happened or wouldn't have happened. But, at that point, kind of where we were, I believe it was 13, 14, they went back to back. And then 15, my freshman year, we started off 6-7-0. Seth Russell got hurt. I came in, played well. I got hurt, and then we finished the season maybe 10-4, something along those lines. And I think personally, what OU became with Lincoln, and Baker was obviously there, and then Kyler Murray, and then Jalen Hurts. Like, I think that was kind of that's what I saw us as about to become, was kind of that same trajectory that OU was on. And obviously they kind of ran with the Big 12 there for many years. And, I really do believe, if everything would have stayed the same, then, we had great recruiting classes coming in, in 16 and 17. I thought we were about to hit our stride really in 16, and then just keep pushing along. And, back then, I mean, we were one of the hot spots, to come, and especially in the state of Texas, I mean, you felt like, you're competing with UT, A&M to get to the best recruits, in the best football state in the country. And, that's how I feel. Again, everything happens for a reason, and, it all ended up working out. But, I was super excited at the time to be a part of that.
Well, and by the way, Scotty, did you have something for Jarrett? Because I would hate to short you if you wanted to run it. I've loved talking to Jarrett, and I know we need to let him get back to his thing. But Scotty, jump in here if you had anything for Jarrett. I was kind of curious about what Jarrett's telling his buddies that are coming in for this game, like what he's told them to do, if he's given them any advice or anything.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah, but Scotty, have at it, man, because I was so excited that you were able to track down Jarrett, and I was hoping we could get him to Waco for the Stidham Bowl, and we could have even maybe recognized him before the game. And
I don't know about that. I will say we were going to come down. We were going to come down this week because this is our last off weekend before the season starts.
Yeah.
Next week, but my wife is 31, 32 weeks pregnant, so it's just kind of a lot, with her and then the kids and stuff. It was just kind of a lot to do, on short notice. But we would have been down there. Probably had she not, if she wasn't pregnant and everything. But like I said, house divided this weekend, so it'd be fun.
Jarrett, talk to me more about your relationship with Sawyer. I know that's that probably adds even more complication to the rooting interest going on. I know you're going to be rooting for the Tigers, but how often do you guys talk? How often do you get to talk ball with him? What is that relationship like?
Yeah, I would say, oh man, I feel old now. 10 plus years ago, maybe something like that. Like, him and I started talking a little bit, and he went out to California once whenever I was out there training with Jordan Palmer. So I've kind of gotten to know Sawyer throughout the years and kind of seen his football journey. And, randomly he'll hit me up, kind of bouncing things off of me, bouncing ideas, that sort of thing. And, he was talking to me during, his whole transfer period and everything, just kind of how I dealt with it and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch him. Like I said, he had an amazing year last year. Some really, really good games. Obviously, super athletic, can kind of throw it around all over the yard, and obviously pick off whenever he wants. So hopefully he doesn't torch us too bad. I think we got a good defense this year too. So like I said, I think it'll be a little bit punch for punch, but it'll be a fun one to watch.
It will be. It'll be on Fox, and RG3's on the game, and so that'll be cool. Well, Jarrett, it's fun having you on our new show, and love to have you back sometime. And hope you have a great year in Denver. And I hope a guy that I do some work with on Colin Cowherd, I hope he doesn't see this, your cap turned around backwards. He seems to obsess about that.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. I've seen that.
So I'll keep this from him and everything. But that is, well, it's from Stephenville, Texas, man. As we get ready for high school football Thursday, some games start up, and then Friday. What a fun time of year. Do you ever still find yourself, even that, so far removed from it, at least kind of checking the scores and seeing how everybody's doing back home?
Absolutely. Obviously check in on Stephenville every week. I'm very, very proud to be from Stephenville. We just got a new stadium, which is very, very exciting for us, the Art Brow Stadium, Mike Copeland Field. So that'll be really exciting for us. And now that, which I shouldn't say this too loud, but now that my wife and I, we're actually Bearcats. We live in Aledo now, technically.
Oh.
Which, if you would have told me 15 years ago, hey, you're going to be a Bearcat and living in Aledo, I would have said you're crazy. So I feel like I got to check in on Aledo scores too, because I know some people in the area now. But yeah, there's nothing better than Texas high school football and just the fall in general, getting football going. So it's very exciting.
All right. Well, make sure that you meet Jesse Haney in Aledo if you haven't already. And okay, so of course Mac Jones, another NFL quarterback, has been known to show up over there. So it's surreal having a friend who can build like a indoor barn, quarterback barn, and then I try to explain it to people. They're like, "Oh, is it a little barn or whatever?" I'm like, "Well, no, you can open the hydraulic system and it goes about 70 or 80 yards, so
it's a compound for just sports, which is pretty cool. But that only happens in Texas too, which is cool.
Yeah, it happens if you're extremely successful in the oil and gas world and that kind of thing. But that'll be fun. Well, I'll hopefully, now that I know you're in Aledo, I'll see you out there sometime. Jesse's a great friend, and his son Scotty Hoss Haney is looking to be the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State this year. So he transferred from TCU. So he's come out of the vaunted Aledo program, which I don't know. I mean, Stephenville obviously has had incredible success. Jarrett, I think Aledo's sitting on 11 to 13 state titles now.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I think we're at 6. I believe. So we'll get there one day.
We'll get there. Jarrett, thank you, and great. Thanks for spending the time, and good luck in Denver, and hope it goes extremely well this year, and just continued success to you. As man, you're just doing a great job, and we appreciate you having it. And both fan bases will be, think very highly of you. Just know that.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me on again. And like I said, Friday night it'll be a lot of fun. Hoping for a good game. We'll see how it turns out. So, but I appreciate you guys having me on.
You bet. There he goes, Jarrett Stidham on the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network, and man, fun having him on. It's funny. I hadn't seen Jarrett in a while, and with that hair growing out and the cap turned around backwards, there was a little bit of a Justin Herbert thing going on. Justin Herbert, who was connected here in recent days to some kind of famous young singer, and Jarrett is happily married and has one on the way, so he's not living that life. But wow, that's cool. And I couldn't, you just can't help but think. Scotty, of when I see him play and see him putting up big numbers in the NFL preseason, what that would have been like. That those teams, and again, we could drive ourselves nuts with all that. We all know the story. We don't need to relitigate all that, but
dude,
it's
and people,
amazing. Yeah,
I'm gonna fanboy dream for a second, then we need to take a break. But that 2015 team, everyone talks about. That team was a lock to make the playoff, if not win the whole thing, when Seth Russell was healthy in 2015. Corey Coleman, of course, won the Bolitnikoff that year. But I'm telling you, I think that team makes the playoff if Stidham stays healthy, because he was a true freshman. He was, Seth Russell was a pretty phenomenal athlete, especially with his legs. But Stidham came in that Kansas State game and looked tremendous. I mean, operated the offense like a pro. I mean, Jarrett was an outstanding player. He reminded us when he came on Pete's show back in February. I'd have to look at the schedule again, but his junior year at Auburn, I think the only game they lost was to the national champion Georgia by like a field goal. I mean, that dude has some outstanding ball in his history, and I think like you said, one of the sleepy good quarterbacks there in the NFL too. But yeah,
isn't it interesting that none of those quarterbacks, and Nick didn't even try. He could have had some tryouts, and I think the Cowboys even brought him in at one point for like a mini camp that I remember him being on there. But Nick was an incredible college quarterback. We haven't even talked about that. Nick Florence is replacing the late great J.J. Joe as Baylor's color analyst. So it's like, we need you to raise all the money for Baylor. We need you to be huge in development. And then we're going to need you to go upstairs and call the games every week. So Nick, and he'll do a really nice job. And it makes sense. So, I had sat here wondering kind of how that was going to happen. But, you want somebody that played at Baylor, that loves Baylor. And this happens to be a Baylor employee. So anyway, I can't think about that without thinking of JJ, and this time of year especially. It's just like our pregame show. Not that I would have ever tried to cause controversy that's certainly not me. But like JJ, even though we would be like the not traditional under the Baylor umbrella, like JJ would have had a hard time not coming over and hanging out with us, or if we needed him to, and he was just the most incredible guy. And he never I'd get crossways with somebody, occasionally, and JJ would know us both. And he was such above the fray and such an incredible guy. He just laughed. He just thought it was funny. And he was just above all that. And there was not a better guy. And I think Scotty, we're going to find a way, and you can speak to this, but we're going to find a way to celebrate his life and his Baylor career heading into this first game.
Yeah, we are. Faith Lynch has been working diligently on a story that will run Friday on Green and Gold Game Day, just all about JJ Joe. And I probably won't get to share this Friday, Matt, so I'll share it with this audience now. I went through some stuff last year. Ended up back in Waco, ended up at Rogue, made the decision to bring back Please Bear With Me. And we did a couple of episodes this spring. And man, the first one back was the week that he passed away. And that was incredibly emotional because he had reached out to me on X in a DM just to say, hey, man, I'm praying for you. Mind you, I never got to meet the man in person. I never met the guy, but just as a fellow Baylor football kind of tied in person, he reached out to me out of the blue to say, hey, I'm praying for you and I'm here. And then I just said, hey, I think I'm going to bring my podcast back. And he was like, put me on the first episode. Put me on. I'm in. I want to. So man, I don't even know the man that well, and yet was impacted greatly by his generosity and kindness and enthusiasm. And so, yeah, man, we're gonna love on him Friday for sure. I know all of Baylor is going to be loving on his family all season too. So,
man, and he loved the Cowboys, and that Luka thing, he had so many opinions on all that. And JJ was just so funny, but that was one of my great joys in life, is to have been a freshman at Baylor when those guys were older. When they beat Colorado and flew back in, we met them at the airport. But then later, to Big Cat, Robin Jones, and JJ especially, to become like really good friends with them, it was just wild, and it happens in life occasionally, and they say, whatever, don't ever meet your heroes. Well, in this case, it was just like the greatest thing. It way exceeded anything I would have ever thought. I was a freshman Baylor line running on the field kid, and J.J. Joe might as well have been a 35-year-old NFL veteran. And he was out there throwing the deep ball to Bonner. And, I think I would see him on campus, like be seeing one of the Beatles or something. Like, oh my God, there's J.J. Joe over there. And like at the time, it didn't even occur to me that like we were classmates. It was like these were the gladiators, the unbelievable. And I had all my little fraternity brothers and stuff, and we were doing our own thing. And then later in life to become like, good friends with him, and where we talked about our kids and everything. And boy, his sons are awesome. They're incredible. His wife. And that's why, as sad as it is, I mean, golly, man, he just had such a solid, unbelievable relationship with his family. You just kind of know they're going to be okay because they're incredible people. And a lot of it was that foundation and plus his wife is just awesome in her own right. And they're going to be okay because that's what they do. But we at Baylor, we got to figure out a way to honor them at all times, everything we do. And I know that game, there's something they're doing, the decal or whatever. That's pretty awesome. That'll be a way to honor him. But I mean, we can't do enough because he, I know I know RG3 from a Heisman. No one ever did as much for Baylor from like a marketing perspective. You have Mike Singletary, and those are the two greatest players in Baylor history. But when you talk about like the soul of Baylor and like who best embodied what Baylor wants to be, aspires to be, it's JJ. It's just JJ. It's just and nobody would have an argument with that, just because that's who he is and that's how incredible he is. All right, it is boy, good job, Scotty. I mean, getting Jarrett, and he was fun and cool and just awesome. I mean, it's just neat to catch up with somebody you hadn't really thought about in a long time, and so, yeah, we can use that. We'll just put that right on in the pregame show. All right. And let's do that, Scotty, when I'm trying to make my way up to the press box. That was awesome. I love that. All right. We're going to continue on. And there's some Cowboy stuff that we need to address, including just the embarrassment of what happened Friday night at AT&T Stadium involving the Cowboys' top pass rusher. That is next.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. BizChair.com, your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. Level up your game with Corsair, the global leader in high-performance gear for gamers, content creators, and PC enthusiasts. From award-winning PC components to premium streaming equipment, smart lighting, and esports coaching services, Corsair delivers an ecosystem designed for peak performance. Whether you're a casual gamer or a pro, alleviate your setup with Corsair. Shop now at Corsair.com. That's Corsair.com. Corsair. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss. Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's golfpartnerusa.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
It is Matt Mosley Show, Rogue Media Network. And Scotty, my hat's off to you. Scotty, you need to trust me. You need to learn to trust me. I can be a little bit of a wild card, but Scotty was, I won't get too far into that, but Scotty was a little bit, he was coaching me up and reminding me of some things to not get into on some certain things. Scotty, that guy, I mean, Jarrett was so great. And now that right there, you have earned your stripes as a tremendous producer. And honestly, you could have had him on Please Bear Me. And so to feature him on the Mosley Show, I really appreciate. And he was great and on a lot of different thoughts. But I'm just glad he's doing so well in the NFL. And it is, we were just doing a little bit of daydreaming, whatever. That's some phrase that Scotty uses where he'll like, and it surprised me about him. He would ask, like instead of brainstorming, Scotty would say something about like, let's dream or dream.
Oh yeah. I like to say, let's dream about it.
I know. And you know, you can imagine for a kid from Kaufman County, Texas, no one's ever said anything like to me like that in my life. And so I'm just like, why does he keep saying that? But that from a daydreaming perspective to think, I mean, you were brought it up. I remember him, and I don't think they won that OU game he got in. They might've lost that game like 38-28 or something. And I guess that was that same season, but they just kept having to go through quarterbacks. And then was that the year they got to like Chris Johnson was the third string quarterback?
Chris Johnson, and then
Hawthorne was playing.
Hawthorne played emergency quarterback against UT. Yeah, that very first drive against UT. They tried to play Johnson against UT to start, but and he got hurt.
When they finally committed to Lynx in that game and just went true Wildcat, they if they had started the game like that, they would have beaten a pretty good UT team in Waco, just running the football like they did against poor Fedora and UNC in that bowl game. They were gashing UT like crazy in the second half of that game. And that would that not have been so hilarious if they had beaten UT with that?
Matt, it wasn't just a theory. Lynx Hawthorne, for those unfamiliar, a receiver for Baylor who had not played quarterback since I think his sophomore or junior year of high school, threw up a Hail Mary to win that game. He heaved the ball down the field on the last play of that game, and if Baylor somehow scores, Baylor would have won.
Wait, I thought we trotted somebody else out there to throw that ball.
You're right. It was maybe it was Johnny Jefferson that threw that ball. It was
somebody with a stronger arm, but now was Johnson too hurt to do it, or did we trot him back out there?
No. So Johnson was concussed, I believe, on the first drive of that game.
Okay.
The very first series knocked him out. And so Lynx was the emergency quarterback and played a lot. And then there was a bunch of running backs. I think it was Johnny Jefferson that threw that pass. I'm going to look this up, actually. You talk whatever you wanted to talk about. I'm going to look up who threw that final pass real quick.
Only Texas high school football, by the way, could name. Was that already Art Briles Stadium, or have they done that since everything happened?
No, they've done that since. Yeah.
Wow. Can you? I mean, just think us covering that story and watching how that all played out, and then. But again, that is where he was extremely famous, and that's where he came up. And people at the high school level have a little different view of things. I knew there were some good a great Baylor family. In fact, some family friends of ours helped bring Briles back to Mount Vernon, and obviously they had some success there. And a full circle type deal. Reason that made me think of all this is because Lynx Hawthorne was on his coaching staff at Mount Vernon. He brought Lynx with him. He might have even taken Lynx over there to Italy with him.
Right, he did.
There was a point, and nobody's ever written. Okay, two things funny that happened involving Briles getting that Mount Vernon job. I know in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But the fact that he hadn't coached since the Baylor scandal, that was kind of a big story, that he was going to coach high school football. In the morning news, nationally, ESPN had headlines, and in true Mosley fashion, that afternoon, some people from Mount Vernon who shall remain nameless were trying to tip me off on that story. And I had jumped in the swimming pool and was just having a nice summer afternoon. And I missed it. They were trying to give Mosley the national scoop on that story. And then always regretted, Paul and others went out there for that first news conference, and I didn't go. But I always thought that would have been kind of interesting. And Art and I actually get along really well now. We used to be friends, and he probably that whole thing, anyway, it was rough. But now we're talking again, which is good. But I always thought that would have been an interesting press conference to show up for, his first one at Mount Vernon. Now, one more aspect of the whole Briles thing. A few years later, or after that Mount Vernon thing, there was one of the big Tyler jobs that was open. And a buddy of mine that was kind of running that at the time was head of athletics there in Tyler. They were giving it some serious thought about bringing, and that would have been a higher profile gig at John Tyler or Tyler. What do they call Tyler Lee now? But now that would have been interesting, because that would have been putting Art back at the Class 6A level which would have been a higher level. And they didn't end up doing it. They ended up hiring somebody else, but just kind of interesting nuggets there. The Stidham interview, of course, brings a bunch of memories flooding back. And well, I was glad for Stidham to go on and have a good run at Auburn in 2017. What's kind of funny is to think of those early days of, okay, what year did McLean open? The first game was against SMU. That would have been 2013 or 14. What year was that, Scotty? So it opens right around then. So
McLean?
Yeah.
14.
Stidham's career was at McLean, and his freshman year was 2015.
15. Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't go to Auburn. You think they would have given him, even back then, a special waiver or something. So he's on the 15 Baylor team. Scandal hits in 2016. All those folks come back. That year they had that quarterback who ended up at Tulsa, starting at quarterback. Big NFL
Zach Smith.
Dude. Zach Smith?
Zach Smith. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the Zebras. I think he played at Grandview. I think he played high school football at Grandview. Zach Smith did. But did they try to get Stidham to play that year? I'm just trying to think of how that went. Or did Stidham
decided
was out? He wanted out of there.
Stidham was out pretty quick when Bryles was out.
Okay.
And
okay. And then he sat out for a year while he decided. Did he immediately know he was going to Auburn? How did it work back then? Or do you think?
I don't remember. Let's Google.
Was there there was a year where he would have had to sit out, I guess, no matter what the situation. But in 2016, Jarrett spent some time taking classes at MCC.
So here it is. He was at MCC that fall.
Okay.
And announced that he was transferring to Auburn in December of 2016.
And then by the spring, he was on the Auburn campus.
Yes.
And then by 2017, he was the starting quarterback at Auburn.
He was immediately the starter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And think about that. Bo Nix follows Stidham. I don't know how many at Auburn.
It was the next season.
And then Bo Nix is now obviously the great. I don't know how great he is, but he's on his way.
Good.
Good young quarterback at Denver, and his backup is Jarrett Stidham. See, Stidham, to me, is a better version, player-wise, of Kingsbury. See, Kingsbury was with Belichick and had a cup of coffee with New England and bounced around as a backup. And obviously was a decent NFL backup type. Stidham is a much better quarterback than Cliff. Now, that'll be interesting to see if Stidham wants to be a coach after he's finished, because he's got that in his blood. And if I remember correctly, was Stidham's dad a coach? Stidham has coaching in his blood and in his family to a certain extent. I was just trying to remember, because Stidham played at Stephenville, but somebody in his family went to coach somewhere else. I don't remember the whole story, and I didn't want to have him. I was looking out for you, Scotty, because I didn't want to get too far back in there. But that, at the time, was a real interesting recruitment, because Tech was over the moon about getting him. And that would have been Tuberville, who would have been at Tech. That would have been, because it would have been, I think, after Leach was gone. Okay, so they were ecstatic about landing Stidham, and then somehow Bryles ends up getting him in that 2015 class. That was a great class, and then 16 was going to be like a monster class. Like 2015 was already top. It was Baylor's first top 20 or 25 class, because they had just they were good at knowing what they needed. They weren't yet, great at getting like 5 stars or 4 stars. And then that 2016 class, I think that was a top 15 class. And so you were going to match up freaking Bryles, arguably one of the best 2 or 3 coaches in college football, with like great recruits. Whoa. That was going to be scary. And I don't know if you saw that thing. And obviously, Scotty and I are both Baylor guys, and so we both know that. So we could end up doing this every day almost. But like that 2006, like that class, because some of those guys went elsewhere. One of those receivers went to UT, I think. One of those linemen went to UT, and I think he ended up starting for Texas. But it's kind of interesting to look, Jarrett, you could almost do a little case study on where the 2016 Baylor recruiting class went, because they just spread out across the country. But Texas got some of them. I don't know who else got some of them, but that was interesting. And then to Rule's credit, Rule was not it's interesting to me that Joey and Tech base everything off Rule, because Rule had a little bit of a weird recruiting deal. He knew what he wanted. He knew the measurables that he wanted. And then he had some people that were really good at bringing those in. And he's obviously done a pretty good job at Nebraska recruiting. It's not like they've won very much, but it's interesting. What's happened is, and I think Joey would agree with most of what I'm about to say. So Joey copycatted Rule. He worships Matt Rule because he gave him his start in college. And again, Joey won a ton of games at the high school level. Joey's a very accomplished coach. But from a college level standpoint, he worships Rule. And then you match up everything he learned from Rule with the monster money showing up. Like, I would like to know, because it's not like Baylor doesn't have great donors, and Baylor has come up with NIL money, but Baylor had to go that year. Dave could have gotten fired when they went 3-9. They had like $2 or $3 million in NIL. Okay, that their NIL budget. By the next year, they had doubled that, and then they started kind of building on it. But still, when you talk about NIL, now I know now technically we have everything supposed to be a little more even because of the rev share, and Baylor and Tech are dedicating nearly the exact amount from rev share to football. So let's say they're putting $16 or $17 million toward football. It would be interesting to me, and we won't know this because Baylor doesn't put out any of these numbers. Scotty, what I wonder is, last year's this portal class at Tech, this newest portal class, there are rumors that it was somewhere between $15 and $25 million just for that portal class. Let's call it $10 to $30 million, because that gives us a wide range. What do you think Baylor's was? What do you think if Tech had 10 to 30 million?
Just the portal?
Yes. What do you think Baylor?
Well,
because Baylor was pretty selective.
So let's consider Mosley. And again, I don't know. I don't have any insider information on any of this. I'm speaking purely from conjecture. But let's consider that Baylor, we know, had to give some money to the big three here: Sawyer Robertson, Josh Cameron, and Bryson Washington.
I'm not. Yeah,
to ensure.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, Tech was not in that position. Tech was not playing Taj Brooks. He went to the NFL. Tech, Baron Morton was not going to be worth as much on the open market as Sawyer was. So I think there are some considerations beyond just how much money do these guys have, right? Baylor needed to retain that talent. But I would think Baylor spent between 5 and 10, probably 5. Probably 5.
Yeah, maybe 5 at the most. And quite honestly,
I think that article this morning.
Yeah.
I think that article this morning said the roster itself is worth about 16. So maybe less than 5. You're right. I might be shooting a little high.
Probably less than 5, and that is, but that's why the pressure is so ramped up on Joey, because you can't win 7 games or 8 games anymore if you've got people putting up $30 million. And to Baylor, I mean, one of the greatest things about Sawyer, and because Sawyer could, in the back of his mind, still be thinking about, well, guys, y'all brought in DeQuan Finn and paid him like $750 or whatever, and barely paid me anything.
Right.
Sawyer Robertson on the open market would have made John Mateer. I think the 2 open market quarterbacks that made the most were Carson Beck, perhaps at Miami, and then John Mateer going from Washington State to Oklahoma. Who am I missing?
I think those are the 2. I think those are probably the 2.
So
yeah.
Let's say, and they played I think the Tulane. I think Duke paid somebody a ton of money. I think that Duke quarterback made $3 to $5 million for this next season. On the open market, Sawyer probably could have gone and gotten between 5 and 10 somewhere. Wow. I mean, he really could have. Between $5 and $10 million. What do we think Sawyer is making this year at Baylor? I think probably around $2 million.
1.5. There you go.
All right. It's not far. And honestly, the way he played last year, if he builds on that, that will be one of the greatest bargains in the history of college football. And even 2 years ago, we wouldn't have said that. We thought 500 or 750 for DeQuan Finn was like, oh my Lord, what is happening? What is happening to college football? Scotty, what has happened is we've just raced through another program, and Scotty will work his magic. I thought Stidham was great on a number of topics, and so we'll kind of get. I think, Scotty, one thing we'll want to do on all our Apple. Of course, we get our shows. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and Scotty does a great job of getting that out everywhere. But just that interview alone, I'm going to really want to put that on all my social media, and we'll play that up. And Scotty, I'll continue to let everybody know. It won't be one of those things like by tomorrow where Mosley will take all the credit for landing Jarrett Stidham. That was a Scotty Swingler event, and I appreciate you, buddy. That was good. It's a fun show today, the Mosley Show, another one in the books. It's 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. We're kind of still figuring out how we're going to handle Friday's show, because I gotta be in position. We're going to be at the stadium. It'll be all hands on deck. First, it's a different kind of thing with a Friday game. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know how we want to do that. We may do a few things in advance. Who knows? But we'll get that all settled. We'll let you know how we're going to handle that. And then the Green and Gold Game Day Show live from the stadium over there at Brazos Parking, Camp Fimfo. And we'll give you more details as we get closer to game day. For Scotty Swingler, I am Matt Mosley. Thank you for watching and listening to the Mosley Show, weekdays 1 to 3. Good night, everybody.